Hello guys, today we're going to make apple cinnamon bread, and I've got some dates, so I might throw some dates in there too. But let's go ahead and get started on the wet ingredients. So it's not officially fall yet, but it's starting to feel like it's a little bit more cooler in the mornings now, and I wanted to go ahead and start making some of those fall recipes. Start early. So I'm going to pour in 1/4 a cup of almond butter. It's the first step we're going to do. And then this is just the juice of chickpeas. Ah, it's working. Okay, so we're going to do 1/4 of a cup of the juice from chickpeas. Now, chickpea juice you have has sodium in it. Just don't add any salt to this recipe, and you should be fine. But try to give the chickpeas with no salt added. Okay. At this point, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in 1/3 of a cup of milk. Okay, and then we're going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla in here. There we are. Just going to mix it roughly together. Okay. Alright, and then I shredded 2 apples with the skin on. I'm going to throw that in here. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and add, you want about a teaspoon of cinnamon. Just going to kind of eyeball it. And then I'm going to put in about 1/2 teaspoon or so, or more, of nutmeg. So these are all the warm, kind of flavors of fall. You get that cinnamon in there, the apple, because you have plenty of apples laying around, so it's great to make some apple cinnamon bread. Then I'm going to put in some apple, I don't know if I put in apple cider vinegar yet, but you need about a teaspoon of that in there. Then we're just going to mix it all together, and then we're going to start adding in our dry ingredients, which is just our baking powder and our spelt. Oh, that's just great. And our spelt flour. Now you can also add in about 2 tablespoons of date sugar or maple sugar or whatever you want. That's totally optional though, because the 1/2 cup of maple syrup and the sweetness from the apples is going to sweeten it up quite a bit. So if you want to though, you can add in a little bit of date or coconut sugar. Alright, so now I need my measuring cup, and we're going to do 1½ cups of spelt flour. Spelt flour is not gluten-free, but it does contain less gluten. It's a whole food flour made from berries, and it's really nice to use. So about 1½ cup of spelt flour. I'd like to go a little bit over. So 1½ cup of spelt flour, and then I'm going to do 1/4 a teaspoon of baking powder and baking soda. Now, I want to make you aware of something. I get my baking powder aluminum free. It's very important that you do that because aluminum is very deadly, and you do not want to be baking constantly with that in your baking powder. So make sure that you get aluminum free. I actually have in the mail some baking powder that is totally salt free, and I'm going to be using that in my future recipes with baking, because I really want to make sure that I'm being healthy, the healthiest that I can while baking. So I am going to mix all this together, and like I said, you can add a pinch of salt if you didn't have any salt in your chickpea juice that we used, which is going to act as the egg. It's going to make the bread super fluffy and super light, so we want to add that in there. Okay, so we're just going to mix all this together here, and all we're going to do is we're going to take a loaf pan, and we're going to stick this in the oven at 350 for about an hour or so maybe. So make sure that you have some time when you're making this bread. And so I'm just going to stick it in the oven, and then I'm going to come back at you this afternoon, because after that I have to go to work. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick this in the oven. I'm going to show you how it turns out this afternoon, and it's all good. It's going to cook for about an hour, and then I'm going to head off to work. I will show you guys the results this evening. Like I said, I'm ready for fall to come. I am not one of those people who are wishing the summer would stay. No, I want it to leave like right now. So anyways, I will be back with you guys when it's done. 10 minutes. Look at that. Look at that, guys. All right, ready? Okay guys, I hope you will make this bread. It's so delicious, so good, thick, firm, and I love that we added the half a cup of buckwheat flour, which I think my camera cut that out, but it just adds bulk to the bread, but the bread is super soft, super fluffy. I hope you guys will try this recipe out. It's the beginning of fall recipes, and I will see you guys later. I'm gonna go change out of these clothes and relax for the day, because work is over. Hoorah! Oh, if you have not subscribed, maybe you want to subscribe now? Got plenty more recipes coming, so I'll see you guys later. Stop, my mom is making me laugh.